Wasn't the Red Sox.
Yeah, no, God, no.
They blew that wonderful job that the.
Yeah, no, it's not the same. team.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karen. We are joined by Karen Trussell, our finance director, and Commissioner Johnson is joining us via Zoom.
Hi, Betty.
She's on mute.
Hi,
Okay, no, she's not. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. The county checkbook is at $79,267.74. The jail checkbook's at $28,014.64. We have borrowed a total of $2,095,000, which is $145,000 more than last year, but we're still good because we borrowed the same amount, but last year we didn't use $1,290,000 of it. So we're still doing really good as far as borrowing. We should be at 33%. The county's at 32 and the jail's at 32. So
That's it, Karen?
yeah, the revenues, you can see, I gave you the May part, all the fees came in from probate and deeds, and they're still doing really well. When you look at the
Excellent.
revenue sheet, because I did a deposit, this was mostly in one day at 46,000, and most of it was the fees,
Okay,
which was like Tuesday or Wednesday. And then the only other thing is that we completed the ARPA funds annual reporting that we had to be done by April 30th. Dan Pittman came down and helped me, and because of all the changes from the last time to this time, we couldn't use a lot of what we coded our projects to. So everything is under the revenue replacement category 6, subcategory 6.1. And it makes it a lot easier for reporting because anybody that's under 10 million, that's under 250,000 population, they're basically, that's a standard allowance.
okay.
You don't have to do all the reporting that you do
Good.
for everything
Good.
else.
That's
So
good to hear.
we shouldn't have to do another report until next April.
Good. Glad to hear it, Karen.
And we should receive the other half next week.
I was gonna say,
It's
right
1
off.
year and 1 day from when we received it last year, and it was May 13th, I think, last year we got it. I have to look it up. So we should be receiving the other half for sure.
Elaine, do towns receive the same way that counties do? Do you get a portion up front and then another portion a year later like us, or? Good.
Is
And
that
then
it, Karen?
that's all I have.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the finance director's report.
Motion's
second.
been- Okay, excellent. Thank you, Betty. Motion's been made and seconded. All of those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, excellent. Now for the warrants. God, I can't get used to just 2 warrants now. The first warrant is the general fund accounts payable warrant and payroll for
And reserves.
and reserves for $309,450.22.
so moved.
It's been moved.
Second,
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Excellent. And the next warrant is for MCRRC accounts payable and reserve and payroll for $107,307.99.
so moved.
second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all of those in favor?
Aye,
Betty, can Karen use your stamp?
yes, please.
Thank you very much. Director Larrabee's early. He's betting we're gonna move this along.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, how are you?
Very well,
Good.
thank you.
You?
Thank you very much, Karen.
You're welcome.
Jason, you out there?
I'm out here, yes.
Jason, are you prepared for your report?
Yeah, do you want me to come in now?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, was that discussed? Thank you.
Select part. The agenda I have from there is from the last meeting, so.
Oh,
It's fine. No, it's all right. I was looking and I'm like, you said Jason, and the next one on that meeting was the sheriff's report. And I was like, is she talking to me or Jason Trent? That's all, I'm all good. It's all right. No, it's all right. It's fine. Sorry about that. Misunderstanding.
Okay, good
apologize.
morning. Good morning.
So went to the Spillman Summit. That went well. Made it back safely, obviously, in one piece with
So
my
where-
luggage.
Did you bring back, what did you get from there? What was the best part about it?
There were a lot of good classes there, as well as I made some good connections with people as far as the interagency agreements, which I thought is good. So I'm starting to review those and work with some people. There are some people in the same boat that we are, that they're in the process of getting those set up and that sort of thing. So I'm working kind of with them, you know, seeing what they have, what we have, comparing, and, you know, oh, I didn't think of that. That's a good point, you know, that sort of thing and everything. So that was a good part of it, as well as just learning some more about the software and capabilities that we have that we might not be using. Some things, obviously, some of it was, you know, some of the classes were, look at this amazing thing it can do, and it will only cost you, you know, this amount of money, which were okay, but you know, it was part sales pitch sometimes, which I get.
Oh, certainly.
So that's fine as well. So that was good. So I wanted to thank you, the commissioners and the budget committee, as well as approving that, because that was super useful. And I didn't spend, you know, too much time out in the sun to get a sunburn or anything like that.
Obviously,
Yeah. So, so no, it was good. It was a long week and chock full, but it was good overall. Waiting, I had reached out to WatchGuard again for an update for the credit towards our bill for the vehicle cameras. I'm waiting to hear back on that. We have a new account rep with them, so I know she started about 2 weeks ago, and with the summit last week, I know she's been busy, but I just kind of wanted to keep us on their radar and find out what's happening with that. So I don't have an answer for you on that yet. One thing I did find out at the conference is we do, and I was able to verify, is we do have the full license to the software side of the camera piece, which they call Command Central. And that comes with some other add-ons that I'm going to talk to the sheriff about in the sheriff's department to see if we want to look at using those. Those are things such as people can submit tips anonymously online if we want to set that up. They can upload pictures or video if they have things that they want to report, that sort of thing. So I'm going to reach out to him and see if that's something they're interested in or not. Other than that, it's just been kind of catching up on what I missed while I was gone and trying to keep my head above water and work on EMA computers and that sort of thing. It's getting a little bit of a backhaul and things like that, but I'm trying to balance being here 24 hours a day and getting that stuff going versus staying sane. So
Did you get Deeds their tablet yet?
yes, I did. Yeah, I got that to him before I left.
And what about the phone lines within the office that we asked?
I talked to Ray about that yesterday, and we're going to meet tomorrow and discuss that and see what the possible solutions are. I think there's going to be a few different ways of setting it up, depending on how we want it to initially ring and then ring at the other phones, if we want it to ring all at the same time or ring twice at your phone and then over to the other two. So he's going to come down, we're going to go over the options, and then I will email that to you folks to see if you have a preference, and then we'll get that done.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I told him that was a high priority, so.
Betty, do you have anything for Jason? Maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, still on mute. So
Oh, okay. How do you know?
that little red microphone in the corner next to her name.
All right. Okay, Bill, you have nothing?
No,
I have nothing
set.
else.
All right.
Set.
All right. Well, if she comes up with something, I'll be in the back room listening.
Okay, excellent,
All right, thank you.
excellent. Good morning. Now we're joined by Kelly Gray, our HR.
So I don't have too much. I do need to do a correction on your last meeting. You approved unanimously to hire Scott Reed as a corporal for the reentry center with a hire date of April 24th. But after speaking with Ray Porter and him speaking with Scott Reed, that date didn't work. So we would like to represent it with the active date of May 8th. That's all right.
So it's a later date. Good.
It's a later date.
Yeah.
So same wages of 2163, just change it from April 24th to May 8th.
Good, that way it's not retro. Okay, so I guess I'll entertain a motion to amend the
Mhm.
minutes.
Mhm.
That it's correct that the hire date for Scott Reed is May 8th.
So moved.
You seconded, Bill moved.
Okay,
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all of those in favor, say aye.
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 Excellent, thank you, Betty.
All
Okay,
right,
the
I'm gonna be back and forth here for a few minutes, probably about 15 minutes, so just bear
Okay.
with me, all right?
Okay,
Okay,
Okay, the next one is, you guys voted on it. The letter is dated March 23rd. I'm not exactly sure when the vote was because I didn't write that. But we had a typo in the rate of pay for another corporal for the reentry center. And it's for Graham Jackson, who was a part-time and he became full-time. They had accidentally switched the cents. So I needed amended to the correct rate of pay. Originally, it went in as $21.36, and it should be $21.63. I did have them redo the letter. I just need you to vote since it is a change in pay.
I'll entertain a motion
So
that,
moved.
okay. Barb, did you get those numbers? 2136, the correct is 2163, and I will second that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
And my next is I have three new hire proposals. First one is for Frank Pellerin for a full-time patrol deputy with the SO. Anticipated start date upon your approval will be May 16th. He would come in with a 15-year certified pay step of $30.86 per hour and receive 200 hours of vacation per year.
So moved.
A second.
And also the $15,000 sign-on bonus. Do you want-
Where's this one from? Belfast?
Fairfield. So I'm not sure where he's currently working. I just have that he's from the Fairfield area.
Bill made the motion. I will second. There's no further discussion. All of those in favor?
And the next one that I have is a Jonathan Curran, Curran. He has also been chosen as a full-time patrol deputy for the SO. Pending your confirmation, his start date would be May 18th. He will have a 2-year certified pay step for $27.15 per hour.
What was it? What was it? How much an hour?
$27.15 per hour. He would come in with a 2-year vacation pay step, which is 96 hours per year annually, and also the $15,000 sign-up bonus.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor?
The last one is a rehire technically. It is Sarah Jo Richardson, which Dale may be come speaking to you guys about again. She was the 9-week summer intern, and he's asking that she be rehired for the dates of June 27th through August 26th for a flexible schedule of 24 hours per week at $14 per hour. The funding will come from the Homeland Security Program.
Second. All those in favor? She was a good kid. She did a lot of work.
Yeah, she did.
Did a
And
lot of work.
real excited to have her back. that is all I have unless you guys have anything for me.
No, I don't think so.
No, all set on the date. So, okay,
Yep, that is done.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Seeing as where Barb thinks we talk way too much and that gives us way too much time, is it appropriate if we ask Director Larrabee to move ahead? Because he's here. Okay, please join us. Have a donut. Let's talk. Ugh. Ugh. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Always makes me nervous with that knee of yours. Is it your knee or your hip?
No, I found out it's actually the system as well. So. Check that.
This old age is not at all what they promised us, but neither is those tax write-offs for having kids. But anyway. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Few things. I received a resignation letter from Camilla Cook. She was with us for 3 years, but is leaving because of schedule with her kids and flexibility and stuff. So her last day is May 12th, but she's going to stay on and hopefully help us out a little bit part-time. Because we still have a part-time line and she's still fully certified, so we can hopefully bring her in and use her a little bit.
So technically, it's not a resignation.
No, it's resignation from full-time, I guess, is what it would be.
Do you have something in writing that we're supposed
Yeah,
to- Kelly has
it's
it.
in the packet.
Okay.
And I gave Kelly the original.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's make a motion to accept with regret, obviously, the resignation of full-time dispatcher Camilla Cook.
so move.
And moved, I will second. All of those in favor? That would be great. So part-time.
The new hires, they completed all their training. They're doing very well with their trainers. Hoping to have them done by the end of the summer. So that'll give a little bit of relief. Won't help for the summer, but it'll give them a little relief hopefully come this fall, and then we can put on another hiring process once they're close to being done. The new point lookout tower is being installed today. I just talked to the installer. They should have it all complete by the end of the day. The new radio system still moving along. We still have the 2 tower issues. I reached out to Black Diamond, who's doing the tower in Northport. They gave me a price of $177,200 for the tower in Frankfort, which I think is kind of high. So my suggestion is that we continue to work with Blueberry Broadcasting to get up onto Mount Waldo. The lease that they proposed was going to be somewhere between $700 to like $1,100 in there per month, which is better than spending $177,000, I think, on someone else's property.
Right.
So I
Mike,
looked
Can
at,
I ask, is the coverage about the same if we shift locations a little bit? Or how we do
it would be better. The Mount Waldo location is better. The only problem with it, it's not accessible in the winter,
Yeah,
but it's a tower site that was on the outskirts of the ring. So it would, if it went down in the winter, and it wouldn't affect us all that much. And it's not a crucial site that we would have to be there that day to put it back up. We could plan, to get equipment up there if we had to put it back up online. If for some reason it failed, it's an end point. It's not in the middle of the system.
Okay.
I did look at the lease that we have with Mr. Skillings. We have to give him 2 years notice on termination of the lease. My thought on that was we just pay him the 2 years, which is still cheaper than putting up a tower, and which I think is right around 6,000. And then we would just, part of the lease says we remove all the equipment. I'd probably remove the building and the generator And where the tower failed, just see if he wants the tower and the fenced unit, unless EMA wants to remove it and use it somewhere else. And because maybe he could rent space on it, and it might be beneficial to him rather than have to pay to have it removed. We're still struggling with the Unity Tower location. Apparently, US Cellular doesn't play well with others. Because they gave us the base price of $1,500 a month, which is what we thought the lease was going to be, until they added on the rental space on top of the tower, and then the rental space in the shelter, which came over to I think it was like $6,000 a month. I'm sorry, it was $3,000 a month. My notes are wrong, sorry. $3,000 a month, and then, which is crazy. We don't have any other tower site that's anywhere close to that amount. I did reach out to Mike Akers from Unitel. I'm waiting for a response back from him. Unitel is getting out within, I don't know if you know, Unitel was sold, and okay. They, the new owners want nothing to do with wireless. So they may be abandoning that tower anyway in Unity. And so he reached out to them to see what it would cost for us to acquire that location. And maybe in the future, we could put up a tower there, or I could talk to the person that did the study to see if we could knock the tower down to, say, 60 feet, only put our equipment on it, and then see if it would pass. And if it does, then we'd be all set. But I'm waiting to hear back. So right now, Unity is kind of I'm not sure what's going to happen up there yet. Norm is trying to do some check with other towers in the Unity area to see if anything will work. I did, moving on to the comm center, I put in for grant money through Angus King, through Senator Collins, and through Jared Golden for $225,000 to remodel the radio room. We'll see if that gets approved. And like Jason, I went down to the Spillman conference. That was amazing. Learned quite a bit. Brought some stuff back for the dispatchers, did a certification class while I was down there. So
Excellent.
well worth it. Other than that, that's about all I have.
So basically, this proposal from Black Diamond for 177,000, we're just rejecting this, or we're just gonna, because it's only good for 45 days.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it's worth spending the money on someone else's property
No,
to,
I agree.
so if it was our property, it'd be different. But it's just, I don't know, it's a lot of money for someone else's property.
Yep, no, I agree.
I think we'll get more out of Mount Waldo than we will in that area.
Are we fairly sure that will happen?
I haven't done anything with Mr. Skillings yet until I hear and have something in writing from Blueberry. Norm is working with them right now to finalize everything. They just needed to know how much we needed for shelter space and how much we needed for tower space. And they're just trying to figure out the logistics right now.
If all of this goes through with you're speaking about, it leaves us in pretty good shape on the towers.
That
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, the only one that would be in question would be Unity. And my thought on that is if we can acquire that land for some reason cheaply, then we'll have all the equipment, and then later on down the road, we can put up a tower, and then we'll have the equipment and everything to put on it and add that last piece of the new radio system.
Okay. Good.
Betty? Betty, do you have any questions for Director?
No,
Levy?
I could hear most of it, so I think I'm okay with it. It does sound like an awful lot of money for that tower. So I agree with Mike.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mike.
Mike.
Sheriff and Chief.
How you doing, folks?
Good.
Very good. Good
Good.
morning.
Morning. We have just a couple of items. I think Kelly already covered the two new hires that we need to get
Yeah,
confirmed this morning,
yes, you
so
did,
are they already confirmed?
Yes.
Frank Pellerin and,
Now, he's from Fairfield,
yes.
Fairfield PD.
No, he's actually, he is working currently at Pittsfield PD, but he's an 18-year veteran of the Portland Police Department. He was a sergeant with Portland PD. His parents live in Dexter, and they needed his help, so he moved back this way. And then, but he's concerned that the Pittsfield Police Department is going to fold up. Their chief has stage 4 cancer,
Oh, goodness.
and then, yeah, and they're just not sure if he needs job security. So
Certainly.
that's part of why he wants to.
And what about John? Where is he from?
He's actually, he's from Connecticut, isn't he, Chief? Originally from Connecticut. He went to Unity College, graduated from Unity College, so he lived up in the Unity area for 4 years. His partner, she also graduated from Unity College, loves the area. So they're currently, right out of college, he got a job at Kittery PD, so he's been down there almost 4 years. But he and she just bought a new house up in Jackson, and they want to back Waldo County to live, raise their family. So I think he's gonna be a real good addition to the force. So that part's all set. Just wanted to touch base with you. I sent Commissioner Fowler a quick note on the license plate readers. We keep running into roadblocks. CMP is now trying to make a decision on whether or not they're going to let us use their polls. They've complained to Jason that they have too much stuff on their polls as it is. So if that falls through, it may go, and if they say yes, then we're ready to go.
If they say no, Jeff, my opinion is, I guess we're not doing it, because I'm not prepared to ask the county to pay for polls. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, we haven't written a check yet,
Right.
so.
But we'll wait. We should hear back anytime.
I talked to him, I believe it was Wednesday of last week. He thought he would have a decision from the administrators by the end of the week. Last week, and I still haven't done this week. So
And the kicker is I want so bad to be like, oh, this place has them and that place has them and this agency, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to remind anybody, you know, so.
No, I was thinking, Sheriff, that like over on the underpass over by the bridge, I was thinking about there would be some place over there that we would run into this situation that would,
It's gotta have power to it, Bill.
should be power in that area.
Yeah. You're talking about right here at the interchange in Belfast,
Yeah.
by Rennie's. So, I mean, we could look at that. We talked about that location at one point, and it
Problem was at that point,
wasn't ideal.
these LPR. That's what we remember, traffic cameras. At
And
that
then
point,
If we put those in Belfast, then we're gonna have to bring Belfast City Council into it.
and also at that point, they're kind of out of town. Before then, we were able to monitor the traffic so that units could.
Yeah, I think the idea was that we have them on the outskirts, out on the travel ways, that way we could get them going and coming. And we could
Yeah, no,
pinpoint
that was a good idea.
the 3 positions. You have one on
Yeah.
Route 3, one on Route 9 and 202, and then one on
Yeah.
Route 1 South. So basically, coming into the county on 3 different sides
Yeah.
would be.
Good idea.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully CMP will allow us to use their polls. We can move forward.
So should we say CMP is soft on crime?
Yeah, literally. Literally. Oh,
And then the only other thing is Jason has been looking into a COPS grant situation. Jason, I'll let you explain it to the commissioners.
I know we've had some conversations about possible adding deputies in the future, especially with some conversations that we've had around uncertainty with call share and when that may and or change to some degree, shifting more possibly back to us. I was made aware last week that they have reinstituted the COPS grant. So I did a little looking into it to see what the conditions were, what they were requiring. So this year's COPS grant is focused on enhancing agencies, the police policing efforts. So that's what they're looking for in applications. Given some of the conversations that we've had around the office, one of our deputies came up with an idea around the community-based policing position. And given some of the other initiatives we have, like our liaisons and stuff, I think if we applied for the grant, we could put together a fairly competitive application. But we certainly don't want to head that way if it's something that everybody is not supportive of. So the research that I did, the COPS grant shows that it's a 5-year process.
A 5-year payout. I mean,
No, it's a
Okay.
5-year grant process. They pay out the first 3 years.
Full, do they pay in full?
They do not. Originally, when I was told that, I was told they paid in full for the first 3 years, and we had to pick up the final 2. But that, once you read the application, you realize that's not the case. So they pay what they refer to as 75%, and we have a 25% match. But it's not a true 75-25
I was gonna say, what does that not include? Like,
because they cap it. They cap it at 125,000 over the 3 years. And it's only contributed to pay and benefits. So basically, it comes to a little over $40,000 per year that they would pay for the pay and benefits of the deputy. So truly, when you look at our benefit pay package, it's really not a 75-25 split for us. But every officer you get, it's 125 in the first 3 years that you don't have to pay. So I felt like it was an application process that we could be competitive at. So I figured I would at least bring it to you folks and let you know that it was there and just see what your interest was, whether you and us trying to apply for it or pass on it. Something different.
We still, because we'll be putting our budgets together starting in July. In July, we usually start putting that together. This next budget won't be a budget that I'm gonna be administering as sheriff because I'll be retired. But I do think there are more changes in the state that are coming in the state police. The state police commander for this area, his name is Patrick Hood, great guy. Always willing to work with us. He's retiring himself. He's got about another year. He's already bought the Four Corner Variety Store in Union. Him and his wife have bought it. And so he's going to be moving away from the state police. My fear is if a troop commander comes in that's not as easy to work with, and the colonel, I've talked to the chief of the state police himself, and he has pretty much left that decision on whether or not each troop will call share with the sheriff's offices up to the troop commanders. So whoever this new troop commander replaces Pat Hood, he could pull out of call sharing, and we don't have the personnel to pick up those, because we're talking another 25 to 30% of more calls than what we're dealing with right now. And, we don't have that capacity with the current staffing level of the sheriff's office. So I feel like in order to be ready for this, we need to hire at least 2 more deputies because we gotta have one to work the day shift and one to work the night shift. We gotta have a minimum of 2 to pick up those, so that each team has an additional deputy. So I think, this grant, it's not as good a deal as what we've got in the past with COPS grants because they usually funded. The first year was like 100%, and then it would graduate down. So this is not as good a deal. But again, we wanted to consult with you
Well,
folks.
the net cost, if we agreed to this, would be how much a year?
40.
I didn't figure out what our contribution would be because that would be a moving target depending on who you hired and what pay step they came in
Yeah,
at, that
sure.
kind of thing. Their contribution, it would be a little over 40,000 a year is what it averages.
so it would cover like fringe and insurance.
Yeah.
So is this like a real deputy or are we talking more community liaisons that are
Yeah.
not cops that don't carry weapons?
No, so the grant application is asking for deputies, so it's foreign law enforcement.
Okay.
That would enhance your community policing efforts. So when I talk about like our liaisons being something I felt would it's the application process. I think we have a number of duties spread around the agency right now. Our ankle monitoring. It's a good reflection program. It's something that needs a constant attention. That is something I think we can bring in under this. We have for years tried to get our deputies to be more active in the schools. There's a lot of the schools in the district, in this county, that are interested in having deputies more active in the school, being there. Kids just being there to interact with the kids. Our deputies have been pretty good about it, but the reality is they run so hard. Oftentimes they don't have a lot of opportunity to do it. So I think that would be an opportunity for this person to spend more time there. You know, we've instituted in the past business checks, having our deputies stopping in after hours to check businesses, make sure they're all set, but also to stop in during the day, make sure that they have contact with business owners. We've done it to a limited degree, but again, the demand on deputies covering calls has limited their ability to do that consistently. So I look at those types of things. The proposal that one of our deputies came up with was he really had a theater or a community something or other, but he wanted to have a deputy that was focusing on calls like welfare checks and a lot of stuff that we are currently sending
Community liaison.
One of the hurdles that we have with the liaison is you're always worried about the safety factor. Like, you know, are they making a good evaluation? Can they respond to that call by themselves, or do they need someone with them? There's just been some hurdles to rolling that out and expanding the types of calls they could go to. Having a deputy that was the point person for making those decisions, whether it needed to be them or the two of them together, or liaison could do it themselves, that is something I think this person could do. So as I look across the agency, I just look at different duties that we kind of parsed out to different individuals that we could pull together under a job description in this application that would satisfy what they're looking for when they refer to policing effort. But it would be a sworn. It would be sworn.
So it would be law enforcement.
Yep.
So it's a 5-year grant. It's 125,000 over the 5 years that they distribute back to us, roughly
And they pay it out in the first.
3. Is that per deputy? Can you apply for 2 deputies with this?
Yes, I believe if you guys approved it, my plan would be to apply for 2 so that we would have 1 per team, so that we could keep.
I mean, I think, obviously the sheriff's right. We're gonna have to hire down the road. I'm glad Elaine, a budget committee member, is sitting there, because we're well aware, and you guys have made us well aware, that down the road, we're going to have to hire additional staff. So I think anything that we can get or recover would be a benefit. And you both know, I support the community liaison position to a point.
Right.
I want law enforcement, and I like this. This seems good and feels good. I would support it. Commissioner Shore.
Yeah, I think we're about up to, we've about filled with staff right at the moment.
We have one more, these 2 deputies will bring us down to just 1 opening. We have a candidate who's just waiting for his
Yeah.
polygraph. Once if he passes the polygraph, which we believe he will, we'll be at full complement.
And this deal we're talking about would start with the next budget.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yes.
these
I mean,
positions I would put into your budget coming
Yeah.
before the budget committee. I would add 2 positions in there.
I mean, we'd have to go through the application process closes in June. They make the award decision late fall. So the timing of this grant would run pretty parallel to our budgeting process. So if we were successful and got the grant, then we would have obviously those 2 positions funded at whatever level we needed to pay above and beyond. Receiving grant.
Commissioner Johnson? No, she didn't text me. I'm confident in saying that I think Commissioner Johnson would also support this. So, I mean,
Yeah,
thought.
I support it.
I suggest if you can write that grant, get fancy and apply for two and get two, that's great. If you get one, then we get one. But I mean, we've put the budget committee on notice over the years so that they know that we're adding to it. And I mean, Elaine, I think anything that we can get to recover to assist us in paying benefits or whatever, it still comes out of a budget somewhere. I think is an asset. Your thoughts quickly, Elaine? As the budget committee member?
As a budget committee member, I like the idea of going for grants. I would like to see the grants larger, but.
Well, certainly.
But, you know, and going for two is definitely better. And I didn't know if three would give you some wiggle room. That's even an option.
I think the budget committee, and I don't mean to step on you, but I think the budget committee would be easier supporting two this first year. Because we're gonna have to add that into that budget. So Jason's budget has just increased. Thank you, Jeff.
I just think.
You know?
As far as the grant goes, sometimes it. That would be.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with grants.
Well, what my philosophy has been in the 2 terms I've been here as sheriff, when I go to the budget committee, I like to ask for what I actually need. I don't want to fluff it, hope, ask for 3, hoping to get just 2. I'd rather just be upfront. We need 2, and it makes sense the way our schedule runs. We have 2 patrol teams. So in order to get that extra coverage that we're going to need if the state police does pull back further than they already have, is I need a new deputy on each team to bring up, and that's still going to be a stretch. I mean, we're still going to struggle to cover that additional 25
yeah.
to 30
Right.
calls, even with 2 more deputies.
Yeah.
But I think we can handle it. So that's just my philosophy. I'd rather, that way I can talk more honestly with the budget committee and not, I don't want them thinking that, I'm going big just to try and get a little. I'd rather just be honest up front with them.
Departments will need a certain amount of equipment, so they always. It's really good, because they're gonna get shut down somewhere, so everybody's happy with it. The town saves money and they can be.
We need a, do we need?
I don't think we need a motion for this. I think just
This is general
our best
support.
wishes. Go
Yeah,
forward.
just- Just knowing that there would be a financial price tag attached to this over the
Yeah.
next 5 years, I just wanted to get your
I think
input
it
on
just
it.
gets built in.
So, as a disclaimer, I am not a grant writer by any stretch.
Oh,
This will be
great.
my first shot at a grant, but I will put together the best that I can. And,
Who's the girl over in the VOA that's always getting money from turnips?
well, here's the problem
Very
with that.
exciting.
We actually considered asking her, because she has her own LLC, she runs her own company doing this, but VOA is in the process of applying for
So
several
she's
million.
busy.
3 grants, and they've already put 1 application in, totaling probably close to $2 million if they are successful in these grants. So she is grant writing like crazy at the moment under VOA for different initiatives here in the county over the next 3 years. So it's the way that she has time to,
Does MSA have a resource, you guys?
not that I'm aware of, I've never heard of that. It's to find a really good grant writer is. not
Remember
easy.
100 years ago, Waldo County, we had a grant
I
writer.
remember that, yeah. I mean, I wish I knew some folks that were really, really good at it. My original plan was.
Blaine,
if
do you know
guys are
somebody? She's
supportive-
raising her hand. What do you know?
I have a niece that lives in Portland that writes grants. I can get you her information if you like.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she doesn't do it for free, but
Well,
None of them.
that's
yeah, none of them do. But
part
yeah.
of my request was gonna be if Robin was available, was to see if the county would hire her as a private individual to help us with it. She's really good at it.
I mean,
Every grant
it wasn't even that many years ago. Was it that we had a,
It was before I came on, and I've been here 11 years.
oh, for God's sakes, it's forever. But anyway, I remember it. But even back then, I think it was like 25 grand. Why does that number stick in my head? That we were paying, and she was very good and she was very successful. I mean, it's worth.
Is
it's
that the
worth-
one that wrote records grants or?
Yeah, she got all
Post-
kinds of records
Yes,
grants
yeah,
and
yeah.
records preservation and Jason, I wouldn't even know where to look or what to look under for. I mean, I was just thinking MSA might have somebody, but,
I'll take Lisa's name.
well, yeah, Dale, do you know anybody? Not to put you on the spot. I'm just, yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
No.
it was DRG Specialty Services and they left the state
Yeah.
a while ago.
no,
I can certainly, I mean, I'll take.
well, yeah, and,
Lisa's name
and
I'll-
let's put some feelers out. Call Mary Ann, see if she knows somebody. Don't let her do it. But you know what I mean? But, because I mean, I'm sure we could come up with something, professional services or whatever to pay, you get what you pay for. But,
We've had a grant writing budget for a while, but we've let sit dormant.
well, and we've paid for staff to take grant writing classes. Yeah.
I
Isn't
don't
it?
think that ever made it paralyzed.
No, nothing ever.
Grant writing is definitely it is a very unique skill set. I worked with it. The grant that we got for the domestic violence detective, that was a COPS grant. And luckily, New Hope for Women had a grant writer at the time, so she worked with me and we put that together. And we got that done 67 pages.
Oh,
I
no.
could never have done it without.
Ah.
And they since, they don't have a grant writer. at New Hope.
Oh.
So they
Well, Chief, in general, what, support it.
Okay.
Let's
I'll
see what we can
pull
do.
together.
Ah.
I appreciate it.
No, good luck.
Any questions, folks?
But as I say, I'd put 2 additional personnel build it into your budget anyway.
All right.
Okay. Give it our best shot.
That's what we'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Cool.
Mr. Dale, look, we're back on time. Betty, are you back?
I am back.
I am so sorry you were on the phone and I didn't even realize I hope you didn't have any questions for the sheriff or the chief.
No, I didn't. And that was good news for me. Anyway, this phone call. I
Okay,
now have
good.
some home care help.
Good
Starting on
morning,
Monday.
Dale. Thank you very much. Okay.
A little bit of a switch what we've done in the past. We had a regional plan in the past. Participation over the past, I don't know, 20 some odd years has dropped off drastically and it didn't had started all that great to begin with. So what we're planning on doing in the EMA office now is we came up with a county hazard mitigation plan, which you have before you. And if you wish to adopt, you can vote and sign. That's the county plan. It's a lot smaller than a normal hazard mitigation plan because, well, in FEMA's world, the 3 things that typically get covered under hazard mitigation plan is building codes, which we don't have any involvement in, land use ordinances, which we don't have any involvement in, floodplain ordinances, which we don't have any involvement in,
Right.
and road maintenance,
Huh?
which we don't have any involvement.
Right.
So our mitigation plan, if you look towards the back, is basically how to protect the county government employees and facilities and that type of thing from hazards. We met with the department heads on a couple of occasions, went through the draft, came up with a final. A lot of the stuff is training for county employees. And I'm hoping that when I have a little more time to start implementing some of these training things, like for example, shelter in place, which came up during that Penobscot McCrum
Right.
situation, building evacuations, fire extinguisher training, lots of how to deal with an active shooter, those type of things. So it's a lot of it's training type stuff. There's a few facility improvements, a lot of them that we're implementing with the ARPA funds, whether it's system like generators have been put in at different facilities and the new EOC and those type of things. So it's pretty short, to the point, simple. It's only, I think, 12 pages long. what we're looking to do for the county. And then for the towns, originally, the intent by FEMA back in 2002, when I started this whole process, was local plans, and local was a municipality. At that time, they decided that it was too much for a municipality to do, and so we did regional plans instead. Unfortunately, what's happened with regional plans is we get very little participation. And so back in October, I sent out a letter to the towns saying that the regional plan would be expiring in May, that if towns wanted to do a town plan, that I have put together a template and that I would meet with the towns and help them put one together, but we'll do the town plans instead. Like I said, I do have a template. I just got brand new guidance from FEMA. Of course, it's gotten even more bureaucratic than
Right,
it was before. So far, the only real emphasis to go for, to get a mitigation plan is to go for a mitigation grant. We haven't actually had anybody apply for a mitigation grant in about 9 years. And the reason why is because there's not many of them. They're incredibly difficult to get. And most towns aren't even eligible anyways. And when I say eligible, and this is information that the town officials might be interested in, is the documentation that has to be maintained. You have to show that you put just as much money into that problem as you're hoping to get, which is another problem. You have to show a cost benefit analysis of greater than 1. So if you want $100,000, you have to show that you have spent $101,000 on the problem already. Then there's a match to the 100,000 that you're trying to get. So
you're already in the hole,
Right.
trying to get out of the hole
And
by
you
putting
just-
more into the
And you
hole.
and because of the bureaucracy, you have to have your contracting office and your engineering department, all that involved in this process, which the towns don't have, which the county doesn't have. So there really isn't a lot of purpose to get the mitigation plan involved, and so far, none of the towns have come forward. A few towns called me up and asked questions about it, and once we talked about it, they decided that it probably wasn't something they wanted to invest the time in. But I do have a process in place so that if they do want to come up with a town mitigation plan, I can help facilitate that. The town would have to come up with a planning team, collect the data, and I will help them to put the document together and get it submitted. So instead of a regional plan, now we're looking at a county plan and potential town plans. So if you're okay with the county plan,
I think this is excellent as always.
Yeah.
Betty, do you have any questions for Dale with regards to the hazmat mitigation plan?
No, I don't.
I'd entertain a motion that we sign and adopt the 2022 county government hazard mitigation plan.
That's so moved.
It's been moved,
Second,
seconded. Dale, excellent. Thank you very
Sure.
much for this hard work. If there's no further discussion on this, all of those in favor, please say aye.
aye,
And Betty, can we stamp you?
yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Dale.
And make sure you get it. Thanks.
myself is the status of the projects going on at Swanville. We have got the MDOT permit, the fire marshal permit, the plumbing permit, sanitation system permit, everything except for DEP stormwater permit. Now, I did talk with a code enforcement officer in Swanville. He's okay that if we wanted to start removing the old foundation for the dairy barn, we could tear that out. If we wanted to cut down the trees, put up silt fence, those type of preparatory things, he's okay with us moving forward with that. And he's actually given us all the municipal permits up front. I promised that I would take a copy of the stormwater permit to him when we got it.
Certainly.
The stormwater permit, the DEP has up to a certain point in time they have to respond by. And that date is 9 June. And the input that I got was, and they're pretty much going right to the end. So it looks like we're not going to be able to actually break ground for the work until 9 June.
What if we don't hear from them by 9 June?
Then we give them a call and say, send us the permit because you've hit your statutory deadline.
Could we just start work then if we had to?
Well, we could, but they might then say, well, we didn't get you the actual permit and you can't. Like, we could run into difficulties with that.
Right, right.
But I think there's some work that we could do in May up front, like the foundation and haul that all off and the silt fence and the trees and all that.
So begin the
We could do
groundwork
some of
and the
that in
site
May.
prep. Okay.
And then come what, 9 June or 10 June or whatever, we start breaking ground. The one thing that I'm kind of waiting on right now for the time frame of construction scheduling is the foundation contractor. The first 3 turned me down, but I do have one that got back to me. He's pretty sure that he can do it, probably sometime July, August timeframe. But until I know for sure,
Right.
I can't. I mean, the earthwork guy can be working on roads and parking lots and stormwater systems while he's waiting. So he can still be kept busy until it comes time to dig in the foundation. But when I call up a carpenter, they'll say, what time? It's like, I don't know, August, September, October, because I don't know when the foundations are going to be done. I'm hoping in the next week to have that foundation information when he can do it. And I've told him that if the foundation for the warehouse has to wait till later in the fall or even next spring, we'll do that as long as we can get the EMA foundation in.
Yeah.
So again, so we can get out of our building so that the DA can,
When we do the groundwork, let me just.
Yep.
Wouldn't it make sense to do the pour on both the EMA and the warehouse at the same time?
it won't save any money.
It won't.
It would be nice to do them both at the same time. But foundation guy's probably going to take the same forms that he used on EMA
Certainly. put
and
'em
move
right
across and do that one.
Yeah.
But it also goes on his truck and he's heading off to the next project. And this we'll be doing the footings, and then a week or two later, they'll come back to do the foundation wall. Then a week or two later, they'll come back to do the slab. So, I mean, it could be done at the same time, but if it isn't, it won't be a loss.
Okay.
I've been working with electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and well drilling.
All set on that deal?
And they're finding lots of issues with the specs and ways that we can save money.
Really?
Yeah. So I've told them, for example, the well driller called me back and he said, this spec is calling for us to do things that we don't normally do and use materials that we don't normally use. I says, you tell me what you want to use and give me a price and we'll decide on whether we want to go forward or not, which more than likely will.
Right.
Electrical and HVAC guys have both found huge cost savings from the plans. So I've told them, propose what you want to do and let me know. We'll review it. So I think this is going to be a lot cheaper than what the architect was speculating it was going to cost. The other thing is it's a lot of work, but by doing it the way we're doing it, instead of going out to a general contractor for the whole thing, it gives us huge amounts of flexibility. I've been working with Viking Lumber on the materials, and they've made some recommendations on how to do the trusses a little bit differently. They'll still be designed according to all the requirements for loading and all that, but they think they can save a lot of money. So I think we're going to save huge amounts of money.
I talked to somebody there and they said rough lumber. What about rough lumber? Anybody talk to you about rough lumber? And I'm like, talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're working that. Of course, a lot of the materials we're trying to get local. And I actually talked with Jim Robbins. He told me to come on up to the mill and take a look at what they can have to offer for interior lumber. So it's going well. The only thing right now is we don't know our schedule because we don't know when we get the foundation put in. And we're going with the 9 June date for the DEP. Just assuming best case, if they got it to us tomorrow, then we could break ground tomorrow, but kind of going with the worst case scenario of 9 June, which still gives us plenty of time to get the building closed in before winter. So that's where we are with that right now. I've set up an office out there in Keith's space. I found a sign that said, Bobby,
Keep out.
it says, Bobby, can you have the guys clean the area up? It was lying on the ground on the floor. So I went and cleaned the whole place up. I'm not Bobby, but I figured I'd do it anyways.
I figured Keith was gonna find a sign that said, like keep out or
Yeah.
something.
No, he's been great. And actually, by cleaning the place up quite a bit, we've got a lot of room in there.
Oh, good.
and some of the spare materials from the buildings that were built,
Yeah,
we should be able to reuse in the new building. So there's plenty of 2x8s out there and metal and everything else. So we should be able to just reuse that, which would clean the place up even more.
Dale,
Perfect.
do you think when we get a well in that eventually we could run a line over to the back corner of that big warehouse? Or wash down area?
Well, one thing that we've actually planned it's in the northeast corner, which would be like where you guys usually go up into the fields.
Yeah,
Of, we're putting in an outdoor spigot there. And there's some drainage there.
okay, yeah,
So we could pull equipment right up there
yeah.
and wash it
That'd be
down.
all right, yeah.
Yep. And that spigot would be available to both the garden folks and to EMA, and it's an outdoor spigot.
Yeah.
All the electric for the site is gonna run through the EMA building, and then there's gonna be a line that goes over to the farm equipment building, a line that goes to the storage building, and a line that goes to the warehouse.
Okay.
And so and they'll have sub panels over there, linked to that. So everything will go through there. We'll have a generator on site that will be able to cover everything if we need to.
Oh, good, good.
During an emergency, we can shut off other buildings if need be. If we're trying to limit the amount of load that we're doing.
Power that we're using, right?
Like, for example, if that generator goes down, we brought in a temporary generator hookup, which we're setting up, a hookup for that. That would be a much smaller generator, probably a 25K instead of a 60. So we might have to shut some of the other buildings off, but as long as the primary generator is functioning fine, we could actually run all the buildings out there off that. And that's it. We've done so far.
That sounds like we're moving along, Dale.
The contractor I'm looking at right now for foundations is a very Matic Foundations out of Winterport. They're on the airport road. He asked me how I found out about them. I said, I drive by your place all the time. But I was supposed to meet with a Smith Concrete on last Monday, and he never showed up.
Yeah.
It was on site.
It always pleases you, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
Didn't show up, didn't call ahead saying he couldn't make it either. So,
Yeah.
so I'm working with this Matic Concrete right now. See if we can make that happen. I had a carpenter lined up for the EMA building and they backed out. But I've got a list of a bunch of others. I figured I might as well wait, call
God, at
them
this
until I
point, we'll
know.
Make it a weekend thing, set up the gas grill out there and
Yeah.
we'll all show up and
No, if I suspect that if we'd actually gone up to bid for general contractor, we wouldn't got any bids.
I think it's too scary just to get equipment, just to get anything.
Good news from when I talked with Viking about the materials, they think there was one item, if it was a steel, I think they thought might take a couple months. The trusses might be 6 weeks, but everything else they thought they could get pretty much within a week or two.
Don't forget, they've got the mill right up back, so
Right.
they can mill, a lot of it.
Yeah, and we purposely designed this building to be a stick build so that we could use local materials and not have to worry about materials and contractors coming from out of state to do it.
Yeah.
And you never know when you may get them.
No, and if you're working with Jimmy Robbins, I mean,
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect.
As far as supply and demand goes, Dale, this 5% for 30-year mortgage will start to make a change in this country real quick. There'll be
I'm-
People pouring out.
That's the thing. I mean, in my lifetime, I've never seen a point when we've had high inflation and you couldn't find workers. Usually it's the other way around.
Unbelievable.
It
Businesses
just-
are going under and they're trying to, and
I
you're
don't
struggling to find a job.
And what kills me is I don't think unemployment's paying, like what it used to,
during the COVID.
So where are all these employees going? Where are they?
Is it like
Everybody's
maybe-
desperate.
last week or last month?
Yeah.
And they say they quit because they're looking for a better job. Man, I don't know.
I can attest to, and Dale, just to pat you on the back a little bit or push you. I'm not sure which way this one's gonna go, but I received a phone call the other day from a lady that was
Oh, yes.
rather upset because Dale had asked her, or Dale or Olga had reached out to her business to see if she had interest in doing a large print job
For our blueprints.
for the blueprints.
Yeah.
And so she called me because she didn't get the job. She was very, very upset because she was a local business. And I said, well, I'm not aware. Let me do some checking. And Dale found a business that's not that far out of this area. I mean, it's not like under our thumb, but it's a Maine business. That is doing the job for $450, and she had offered to do the job for $2,800.
The number
That's-
actually came in at $392.
What's that?
The other company actually did it for $392.
I mean, it's just obscene. So I had to say to her, I'm terribly sorry, but after doing some investigation, I found that your offer was 3 times at least.
Ended
you
up
know.
being 7 times more. It'd be like going over to the car dealership in town saying, I want a new car, and they tell you it's gonna be $140,000. You go up to Bangor and they're offering it for 20.
You know, I
That'd
mean,
be
it was
equivalent.
just, so I always feel good knowing that Dale is literally gonna find the best price anywhere. So again, I appreciate that.
You know, someone just told me the other day that a Jeep was the Jeep's biggest model. That's availability was an average less than desirable sometimes automobile is 120,000 now. Can you imagine that?
No,
No,
no.
we're trying to keep our car going.
I mean, no. I look back and I think, oh my God, 18 years ago, my first house was $26,000. $26,000. And I can remember there were times that, you looked at your husband and you thought, my gosh, how are we gonna make this $280 payment? I just, wow. So I don't know, but I think anywhere that we can save, and I know that you're very frugal like that, we appreciate that. So.
The guy that trims my lot has a diesel pickup.
He's
And
really
he
in
filled
trouble.
it up down in the northwest
Six.
the other night. It was $155.
$6 a gallon.
Yeah,
And don't think, these truckers aren't gonna have to increase their rates.
I
I mean,
don't
they
know
just,
how they're, the independent truckers, I don't know how they're surviving.
well, and this was our thought with getting the materials and stuff, anything that we could get at this point. Cause I know some places, they've had to order windows and they're months and months out. So anything we can get now and store. But did you have any questions for Dale? I'm sorry, I get distracted.
No, I don't. I was listening. I didn't follow everything, but is some of this in the paperwork that came with an outline?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
No, Dale was just going over where we're at on the Swanville property and.
Right, yeah, and that sounded good, that it's moving and the permits and all that stuff, are moving forward, so sounds good.
Thank you, Betty. Bill, do you have anything further?
No question, no.
Dale, do you have anything else for us? Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And with that, do we want to move Barb ahead so that then when we go into executive session, we
You
can,
stay there?
yeah. Barb, if we could we move you ahead to?
I haven't received one of these in a while, but you haven't noticed it leaking. We just file that. Something I wanted to make you aware of, just so you can think about it over the next year. You know how the Congress Street Hill property is still listed as such, and it's we have to every 5 years send in an annual report to the state of Maine Department of Secretary of State. We got a.
We don't own it anymore.
You do, because it's still a condominium unit.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
Piece of it was sold, but the rest of it is still considered a set of condominiums. It's something that you may want to change the status of, or may not at some point. Right now, we had a 5-year reprieve from having to report, but after 2023, that called a certificate of excuse, that will expire. So just keep that in mind about whether or not you want to look into that, or if you want to continue to keep it the way it is. One thing I wanted to check on is, actually, I'm going to wait and talk to you about that afterwards, but I've gone through and done some disposing of records, both digitally and paper, that had gone well past their retention schedule. And so if you would like to just sign off on that, some of them were agreements that were way expired, bids that had way expired, the time period that we have to keep them, and I'm continuing to go through and take care of those things. Tomorrow, I'm going to go over to the archive and start cleaning it and start doing some more shifting and disposing of records that don't need to be retained. We keep both our permanent and non-permanent records over there, but in 2 different designated areas. But it's pretty dusty over there and needs to be taken care of. I've been taking care of a backlog of sheriff's deputy commissions that have to be entered into the volume. They were processed, but they just haven't been entered for the last 2 years, actually a little longer than that. And I'm almost done with that. What else do I need to report to you? We did have an individual that came in last Thursday that got a little bit verbally hostile, had some issues. I won't go into details, but it did involve calling the police to have them removed. I've been cautioned by the victim witness advocate to just maybe keep the door locked for a little while, because that person has a cycle of returning to a place. So I'm not concerned, but I am going to follow that advice.
You also remember that you have a panic
Yep.
button, right?
Yep, we talked about that too. It can be both beneficial, or sometimes it's quicker just to call dispatch, and it worked out for me to have to do that. But yes.
Use that panic button.
Yep.
Don't waste your time dialing a phone. That's what that's for, Barb.
Will do. I think you probably know that one of the county managers is going to be representing different counties at NACO this year, and they asked if anyone has any input they want to give. If there's anything you want me to send to them, I will. I think it's Ryan from Aroostook County.
Oh, good for him.
Yep, he always does a nice job. I wanted to check with you. I sent a notice. I was supposed to be out next Thursday, but we have training, EOC training, and so I'm going to need to pull back 2 hours from that time, if it's all right with both of you, or all of you, to do that, because I don't want to miss the training. I already had one that I needed to make up, and I don't want to waste Dale's time having to do that in the future. So if it's all right, I'll show up.
For 2 hours.
Yep. Minutes we had from April 21st.
Brenda,
Yeah, I did too. Betty, did you have an opportunity to go over the minutes?
No.
No? Do you want to wait
I-
on those?
I glanced at the minutes and they seemed okay to me, so. I didn't read them word for word, but
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And I also completed finally the public hearing minutes for 2022. I know you don't have to necessarily approve those, but if they're okay, I'll put them on the website. And that is all I had for you.
Do you have to submit those to the budget committee first?
I
for
send them.
review?
Well, the thing is they're not in session right now. So historically, over the years, I've just sent them out, and they just never really approve. But I always send them out and give them enough time period that if someone finds a mistake, I fix it.
Either that would be kind of cool if you could give them a copy of the minutes when we bring the budget committee in, like in August
Sure,
or
I can
September.
do that. It's July, actually. Yeah.
July.
No, you're right. You're right. It is August. We set it up in July. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yep, I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, you need to meet.
Betty,
I
do you have anything further for Barb?
No,
Bill?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, Keith, is this before his executive, or are you just all executive session? Then I'll entertain a motion to go into executive
So moved.
session, Title 14046A.
Second,
I don't have anything for miscellaneous business.
Motion to come out of executive session 1 minute ago, Barb.
Maybe
Bill did, and I think Betty seconded.
right.
No.
I don't have anything for miscellaneous business. Chairman?
Yeah, no, currently, I don't believe I do either. Betty, do you have anything?
Well, the only thing I was going to mention is the MECAD is now macabre. And it's been a whole big change in the whole setup and everything. And it would be nice if if Matthew could come and just update us on what's going on there. I mean, it's been a work for 2 or 3 months, and things are falling in place and trying to find a new identity and so forth. And I think it would be great if we did allow him come and present and update you on the program that we have.
I think I said he could easily come during public comment. I don't mind. No.
I would say public comment.
Oh, yeah. Barb, I
Okay.
think,
Let's be upfront. Everybody that comes through the door is trying to get their hand into a pocket. I'm sure he can tell us in 10 minutes what to do and how to do it.
Right, well, that wasn't the point. The point was that it is an agency that we've funded before that has changed its role and so forth. So, but anyway, that's fine. I didn't make any comment. I just thought I would mention it now. And if the two of you feel that it should just be a public, comment, and so be it.
yeah, no, I think he could easily address us then. Yeah.
Okay. I move that we adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Betty made the motion already. You got a second?
Yep.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.